Let's get this clear. If you want to position yourself as an expert in your niche, the last thing that you want to do is focus on a paid ads or a PR marketing campaign. Because the fastest way to establish yourself as a leader in your niche is to commit to giving regular, long-form content on a platform like YouTube. Now, one of the main benefits of establishing yourself as an expert in your field or your niche, even if that's a hobby niche, is that you're able to increase your revenue streams because you can then branch out to different coaching programs, different paid communities, online courses, if you want to go down the path of even books and different brand deals. And as I said before, the best way to do that is to focus on long form content, anywhere from 8 minutes through to 30 minutes, and especially focus on a platform like YouTube. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on platforms like Instagram or TikTok, but what I'm clearly saying is that if you want to establish yourself as a leader in your niche, it's going to be really, really hard to do that 30 or 60-second grabs. Now, before we break down the differences of the different platforms that you can use, I do really want to focus on one of those first statements which can turn people off, and that's that they may not consider themselves to be an expert. And I really do understand this because the first channel that I launched back in 2021, which was all about teaching people how to use Google Ads, and it's now actually the largest Google Ads only channel on YouTube, is that I had wanted to start that since 2017. So I'd sat on that for 4 years, and a lot of it came down to is that I didn't feel like I was an expert because, you know, even though I'd been involved in Google Ads since 2010, built my own business, I'd worked at different digital agencies, had my own agency, and I had a really good level of experience, you always do come down and question, you go, well, are there other people who are better qualified than me, or are there other people who may be, you know, a better expert? So with my YouTube channel, I've never come out, nor will I ever come out and say that I'm the best person at Google Ads in the world. But what I do know is that I can definitely teach people who are new to Google Ads, or even only been in Google Ads for 3, 4, 5, even 6 years. I can teach them the lessons and the strategies which I've learned over many, many years that I know work in Google Ads. So don't let that fear of you thinking that you're not the best person in the world at your skill, or that there may be other people that are more qualified than you, because really when you break it down, all you need to be able to do is you just need to be able to teach people who are new or not as experienced as you in how you do what you do. You know, a great way of thinking about this is that the best guitarist in the world is probably not the best guitar teacher, but you could have been playing guitar for 5 or 6 years, but you've got a really clear formula where you can teach someone who hasn't picked up a guitar before in order how to play songs in a matter of 4 to 6 weeks. So remembering here that the focus is, can you teach someone what you do, and do you have that level of experience to help them when they find different problems, as opposed to being the person who's the absolute most experienced in the world. So with all that said, let's now come back to where we started this video, is really drilling down that if you want to become an expert in your niche, the best way of doing that is to focus on long form content on YouTube. And we're going to jump into a screen share so we can really break down the differences and the pros and cons of why you should be starting with YouTube. Now, just in case we haven't met yet, my name is Aaron Young and I'm from 7 Figure Coaching. And what I share here is all of the strategies that I've learned over the past 2 years, where I've gone from a stressed out freelancer to having the largest YouTube channel in my niche, which is all about Google Ads. And if this is a journey that you would also like to do, I want to give you access to my course creation checklist. And if you follow that link in the description below, you're going to get access to a checklist which takes you through the process of how to get an idea in your head into a course which is easy to digest, teaches people the skills that you can share with them. And so you can go from an idea to a fully packaged course. And if you want to get my course creation checklist, just follow that link in the description below. And right now, let's jump into that screen share so we can really break down the different platforms and why you should be focusing on YouTube. So as we said, here are the pros and cons of each of the different platforms, and we're really going to be going through social media, which are bundled in as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, podcasts, and YouTube. For the first one, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, or your socials as we'll just call them, that's your short form of content, whereas podcasts and YouTube is our long form. And when it comes to actual content creation, I do know why a lot of people do go over to socials first, is because it is easier. It's much easier to put together a 45-second video or a couple of slides as opposed to an 8-minute video. Podcasts are also easy because you don't have that video element. You can do successful podcasts with just voice. And then YouTube, it is moderate because you do need to have a video, you do need to have audio, and there is some different editing that you need to put in place. But what I would say is it's not as hard as people think, and it's also not as expensive as people think. You know, I'm recording this off a $500 camera and off a $200 microphone. Previously, I've done it off a $80 microphone and the iPhone I had at the time, and we were still getting really, really good results. And this is another reason why people go into the socials, is because it's easier to get views and likes. Whereas with podcasts and YouTube, it is more challenging. But then the flip side of that is that with social media, your engagement is low, but with your podcast and also YouTube, you've got a much higher engagement. And then when we come down to what's really, really highly valuable is that the quality lead, especially organic leads, is very low on social media. So you might have a lot of views, but it's hard to transfer them over to your own database. Whereas for podcasts and YouTube, that is a lot easier to do. What a lot of people miss is that views, likes, and even followers and subscribers, it's a false economy. Your focus should be to generate real leads, not just views and likes. Now, you do need views and subscribers and followers, as it does help with your credibility, but they're not the end game. You don't get money from how many people view your reels. But with YouTube, because it's much easier to convert someone from a view to join your database, you can then sell your products directly to them. And just to prove this point, what I want to show you here is that I'm about to show you data from my other business, and it's how many subscribers do you need for a 7-figure business? Because with YouTube, those numbers are much lower than what you think. And what I'm showing you through here is we've got different points here. So we were earning over $5,000 a month through course sales, online communities, and also some coaching packages. And that was when we had under 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're hitting $10,000 a month with under 3,000 subscribers, and we were hitting regular 85,000 6-figure plus months with under 20,000 subscribers. And that's why with YouTube, you don't need a large audience for a 7-figure business. So the difference between those platforms and why YouTube should be the platform that you're focusing on is because remember that you're not just focusing on views and likes. Because a key component of being able to position yourself as a thought leader or expert in your niche is that you need to be able to convert your audience to a database. And the reason for that is because with that database, you can then send out your newsletters, you can promote your courses, your products, your coaching programs, or even any upcoming events that you have. And you don't need to worry about algorithms changing, because remember, with these social platforms, you may have thousands and thousands of followers, but only about 5% of those followers are going to be seeing the new content that you release. So that's why YouTube is the core focus, because it's the easiest platform to convert people from views through to your database. And if you want to know the exact way which we do that, because it does take some strategy, but it's a very, very easy strategy to implement. And if you want to see how I convert my YouTube views over to high quality leads in my database, I want you to go through and watch this video right here. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.